Let's spill some tea.
All right, let's spill some tea, fueled by Artillery Tea Company, the only America-first veteran-owned tea brand. Their mission is to maximize flavor with whole leaf blends and chemical-free tea bags. No junk, just real tea. And here's the tactical advantage. Each bag brews twice. Just go to artilleryteaco.com and use the code LIBERTY for 20% off your first order. Again, that's artilleryteaco.com. Premium tea, mission-driven, and brewed for the brave. It is time now to spill some tea, and in the cup today, Kentucky Representative Thomas Massie. President Trump shook things up for the Kentucky lawmaker last week by throwing his support at a potential primary challenger who hasn't even announced his bid yet. In a Truth Social post, the president said third-rate Congressman Thomas Massie, a weak and pathetic RINO from the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, a place I love and won big 6 times, must be thrown out of office ASAP. The president went on to endorse Captain Ed Goring, who served as a Navy SEAL and an Army Ranger. He narrowly lost a race for Kentucky State Senate last year. Now Massie is firing back, calling him a failed candidate and establishment hack. To discuss more, let's bring back David Brody and Terrence Bates. Terrence, is the president right about Thomas Massie here? It seems like he's taking a pretty aggressive approach here.
Yeah, and this is no real big surprise. Thomas Massie has opposed much of what President Trump has done, specifically as it relates to budgetary issues and that sort of thing. He's been a thorn in the side of MAGA Republicans and of the president. And so it's no surprise. In fact, President Trump has said for a long time that he's going to primary Thomas Massie. And so this is just that. However, having said all of that, Thomas Massie traditionally has had pretty strong support there in Kentucky. And so it's always difficult to oust an incumbent. But President Trump, of course, as we know, David, has the Midas touch. And when he puts his support and endorsement behind someone else, it definitely gives that candidate a boost.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Not surprising at all. He calls Massie a RINO, a Republican in name only. And I guess that would technically be true because right now the Republican Party is owned, if you will, so to speak. In other words, the leader is Trump, right? I mean, so it's Trump's party. And Massie is pretty much not following the script. And in that sense, Trump would be correct in saying he's a RINO in terms of the way the Republican Party is today. Having said that, you go back X amount of years and you have a different Republican as president, and Massie actually wouldn't be a RINO. So it kind of just depends on the perspective here. But having said that, look, I mean, Massie marches to the beat of his own drum. He does his own thing. He feels like he can get the votes down in Kentucky. He's in a pretty safe district, very safe district. We'll see, though, where the rubber meets the road here, T. Bates, as you said. It's interesting, kind of reminds me of Rand Paul a little bit also in Kentucky. Rand Paul is off the reservation when it comes to Republican stuff. But the difference with Rand Paul, I feel like with Paul, he's been doing this for like decades. He's not a Republican, right? He's a libertarian. I mean, his father was Ron Paul, or is Ron Paul. I don't want to put Ron Paul in the grave yet. Is Ron Paul. And so, it makes sense from Rand Paul's standpoint. It's like, look, I'm only going to vote for a budget that has all 12 appropriation bills pass. I'm not going to vote for a continuing resolution. I'm just not going to do it. That's not what I was sent here for. And, good for him. Good for him that he stands up for his principles. So I don't have a problem with that, even if it's against what Trump wants. But Massie is a different character altogether. I think that's a little bit more political in nature.
Definitely, yeah. Seems like there's some personal stuff going on here. All right, great discussion, you guys. Still to come on American Sunrise, giving back to our veterans. A new tiny home village is giving former members a fresh start. In moments, how one nonprofit is turning compassion into action and helping heroes rebuild their lives. That's next on American Sunrise.